I'm starting with a story about my wife's grandfather, known here in the community as Mr. Weiss of blessed memory. Rabbi Weiss, a big chassid, a very special person, and he was living in Los Angeles after the war, came from Europe, survived Auschwitz, and was married to my grandmother, and they came to Los Angeles to live. In Los Angeles, there was a small religious Hasidic community. They had a rabbi. The rabbi's name was Rabbi Etner. Rabbi Etner was a Jew who was born in Galicia. He was a Hasid of Belz. Belz was a Hasidic dynasty, a very big Hasidic dynasty in Galicia, in eastern Poland. And he was a Hasid of Belz. And he studied in the different yeshivot. He received his rabbinic ordination from great scholars in Poland before the war. He actually became rabbi in London after he was married. Before the war, during the war, his house and his synagogue were both hit by the Germans. It was destroyed. Luckily, just left his house before he was a religious community in Los Angeles. That Mr. Weiss was the so-called the big macher in the shul, like the president, so to speak. And Mr. Weiss always said that he heard from Rabbi Etner a lot of good guidance in the ways of Hasidism. And he actually, even Mr. Weiss was not a Belz, he went to Lubavitch, but he said the one who taught me how to write to our Rebbe was Rabbi Etner. And he was very respected, Rabbi Etner. The Rebbe actually had a relationship with the Rebbe too. The whole story that the Rebbe demanded by him to publish his own Torah insights. And he thought the Rebbe was being a gentleman, just being nice to him. But then when he got sick, and the Rebbe told him, I told you, you should publish your book, you should write the Torah. Basically kind of telling him, this is the remedy that's going to prolong your life. So you realize that it's serious. Either way, he used to have a very nice custom, Rabbi Etner, in his shul. The custom was that every morning after Shacharit, before everyone is running off to work, he used to sit down around the table and mention the yortzites, the various anniversaries of passings of different tzaddikim, rabbis, sages, scholars. There's actually books which gather the different yortzeit days and share some stories about them, some insight, light candles in their honor, have a little l'chaim, and then everybody goes off to work. And once he told them that Mr. Weiss remembered that there was in Belz, one of the rabbis of Belz before the war, he actually passed away in 1926, was Rabbi Socher Dov, actually shared the same name, Socher Dov of Belz. And he once told his Hasidim that Chayei Sarah, which is this week's Parsha, is a very nice Shabbos to travel to our Rebbe. Happened to be, he didn't say, happened to be that when the Hasidim heard it, so they heard it whenever he said it, at the time he said it, it wasn't Chayei Sarah, it was a regular day in the week. But when they heard it, they decided to come be with their Rebbe 19 and Chayei Sarah. Happened to be that Shabbat, 1926, Chayei Sarah is when the Belz Rebbe passed away. So many of his Hasidim were in Belz at that Shabbat not knowing that something is going to happen, but they just came because they heard once from their Rabbi that Chayei Sarah is a nice Shabbos to come to our Rebbe. I was actually at his gravesite in Belz, with Mr. Weiss together in 1994. In August, we traveled to Europe together, and we went to Belz. Belz is very close to Lvov. So you leave Lvov, right after Lvov, you come into the city of Belz. 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 There is another Belz also in what's it, in Moldova, famous song. Belz mein steht alle Belz, mein Jemale was ich auf sich in the Jinge, Juden verbrannt. Mr. Amul given in Belz. It's a famous song about, someone sings about Belz. There was a Jew in our community years ago, that Moshe, that told Reb Moshe that he came from Belz, from the state of the Belz, not the Belz I'm talking about. So anyway, so this is so Mr. Weiss. This is 1990. This is 1981. He tells me the story. He's sitting in the shul Thursday, and Rabbi Etner already was in Israel or passed away by then. And he remembered Rabbi Etner said that Chayei Sarah is a nice Shabbos to come to our Rebbe. So you know what? I'm going for Shabbos to the Rebbe in New York, our Rebbe. And he made a ticket for that night, and he's flying to New York. And on the plane, he takes with him some books. He always took with him some books to learn. And he also, on the plane, he used to write to the Rebbe about his affairs in his physical life, in his spiritual life, and also write some interesting Torah insight that he had read. So that week, so he writes to the Rebbe that he heard from Rabbi Etner that Chayei Sarah is a nice Shabbos to be by the Rebbe. So I'm coming to the Rebbe for Shabbos. And here is an insight on the Parsha from the Belzer Rebbe, the same Rebbe who said that Chayei Sarah is a nice Shabbos. The Belzer Rebbe is asking a question. The question he asks, in this week's Parsha Chayei Sarah, there is a story which repeats itself almost word by word. What's the story? Abraham is sending Eliezer, his servant, to go find a shidduch, a maid for Yitzchak, his son. And he gives them all kinds of warnings, which girl he should bring and which girl he should not bring. He takes an oath from him to make sure that he comes back with the right girl that should be a wife for Yitzchak. And he also gives them very, very special blessings. And one of the words in the blessing that Abraham says to Yitzchak, he tells them that on verse 7, page 126, those who want to look it up, chapter 24, he says, Hashem Elokei Hashemayim, Asher lekachani מבית אבי ומארץ מולדתי, ואשר דיבר לי, ואשר נשבע לי לאמור לזרעך אתן את הארץ הזאת. He introduces to Eliezer, he says, Eliezer, I want you to know that God, he says, the God of the heavens, who took me from my father's home, which was in Haran, and from the land which is the land that I was born, which is Ur, right? Rukazdim, where I was born, who spoke to me about my needs and answered to me at the covenant of the parts that we read 2 weeks ago, saying, I will give this land to your descendants. So Avram says to Eliezer, that same God, Hu ishlach malacho, listen to the word, lefanecha. He will send his angel ahead of you. Velakachta isha livni misham, and you will take a wife for my son from there. So he tells him there's going to be an angel, and the angel is going to be ahead of you to make sure that you bring me the right wife. Right? Make a long story short, Eliezer is coming to Choron. He makes a whole prayer and a whole sign to make sure that he finds the right girl for Yitzchak. He comes to the house of Rivka's family, Betuel and Lavan, and he tells them everything what happened. Why is he here? And what sign he made? And what his master told them. Take a look the way he repeats the words of Abraham on page 132, verse 40. Vayomer Elov. And he says, so my master replied to me and he said, Hashem, asher isalachti lefanot, God, whom I had walked before him, Yishlach malocha itoch, he will send an angel, what? He will send an angel, itoch. What's itoch mean? With you. Beitzliach darkecha. And he will make sure that your journey is successful. Velokachto isha libni. It changes the word. The Rabbi of Belz asked a very good question. What did Avram tell Eliezer? The angel is going to go with you or ahead of you? Ahead of you. And what is Eliezer telling Betuel? That my master told me that the angel is going to go itach with you. There's a big difference, with you or ahead of you. Ahead of you means he's going, taking care of business. I just come in and pick up the crap, right? Pick up the fruit. With me means I'm going to work and he's going to assist me. Why is the change? That's not what the master told him. And he answers an answer. And Mr. Weiss is writing that on his letter. Comes to New York Friday morning. He goes into the Rebbe's secretary's office, gives that letter, and he goes get ready for Shabbat. Next day, Shabbat afternoon, 1:30, the Rebbe came down to make a Farbrengen. Shabbos Chayei was usually a time the Rebbe Farbrengt because at Shabbat Mevarchim, most of the years, as the Shabbat which blesses the new month, the month of Tevis. The Rebbe in the 80s usually would start the Farbrengen by discussing the first talk about Shabbat, what's special, another talk about Shabbat, say a Ma'amar Chassidut, and then always the Rebbe used to also discuss an insight into Rashi's commentary to the Chumash. That the Rebbe began 1964, after his mother passed away. In honor of his mother, he initiated this new idea that every Shabbat he elaborated on a Rashi, trying to explain Rashi, asking questions and explaining. A very, very big part of the Farbrengen was to study one Rashi, insight into Rashi. That Shabbat comes to the Rashi, the Rebbe begins. Look in the Chumash, you see that Avram is telling Eliezer, there's an angel going ahead of you, lefanecha. Later, Ben Eliezer repeats the same words to Betuel and to Lavan, to the family of Rivka. He says that the angel, I was told there's going to be an angel going with you, which is a big difference between ahead of you or with you. And the Rebbe asked, how come Rashi is not wondering that question? And how come Rashi is not explaining the difference? You can imagine Mr. Wise got very excited. He jumped. Look, the Rebbe is discussing the question I wrote him in the letter Friday on the plane. The Rebbe used to ask questions on Rashi, then on the Zohar, on the Parsha, and then take a break, the song, the Chaim, and then the next Sikha, the next talk, would he explain the explanation in the Rashi. After the Rebbe finishes the question, the say the Chaim, the sing, Mr. Weiss used to always, when he came to the Rebbe, used to stand or sit at the Rebbe's stage, left side of the Rebbe. You see the picture of the Fabregan on the left. It's pretty close. He takes a Chaim and he goes over to say Chaim to the Rebbe. Not trying to say something, but there's a Chaim. And the Rebbe looks at him and he tells him these words. Not only Chayei Sarah, every Shabbos is a good Shabbos to come. You should come more often. You should come more often. Connecting the Rashi with the letter. And that Mr. Baruch told me that at least that year, he used to, in addition to all the holidays, which he always used to go, every Shabbat Mevarchim, he used to go leave Los Angeles and go to be with the Rebbe. But the Rebbe told him more often. Anyway, this is the story. What's like a pshat in Rashi? So the truth is, if you go back, the Alshich was the Moshe Alshich, the famous darshan in the Ariz community in Tzfat with the Bet Yosef. Well, the book Torat Moshe, we have it over here, 3 volumes. The Alshich. He asked this question. He says an interesting answer. He says that what Eliezer was planning to do, he actually tried to magnify his respect in the eyes of Rivka's family. What was the idea? The Alshich says that Eliezer was concerned. It could be that Rivka's family would agree to the very fact that it's a good match, it's a good shidduch. They would agree. But then they might say, our daughter, Rivka, is going to be sent with a simple slave, a servant of Avram. Who is this guy, Eliezer, that we are going to trust him to take our beautiful daughter, Rivka, travel all the way back to Canaan, from Haran to Canaan? No. So therefore, Eliezer wanted to make sure that it's okay. You can trust me. It's a kavod. It's an honor to your daughter to come with me. So he says, you know what? You know who I am? I am the guy that Abraham, he said, Hashem yishlach malacho yitcha. The angel is going to go with you. With you means that the angel is going to be even secondary to me. I'm going to be traveling, accomplishing. Not that I am going with the angel. The angel is going with me. The angel is going to honor me. I'm not like every other shmo on the street. I am a special, pious, kosher, tzaddik person that angels become secondary to me. So therefore, in order to, the Alshich says, in order to make sure that Avram is not, I'm sorry, that the family of Rivka does not feel kind of, concerned. Who is this Eliezer that we're going to have our daughter go? So he changed from the words. In other words, sometimes you deviate from the truth in order to save the situation. But to make sure that Rivka is being sent along with them, that's why he said those words. That's what the Alshich says. Which is a nice insight, but this is not so much in the simple pshat. It has to be an explanation which is going to explain us why Rashi doesn't even bother to discuss the difference. It seems like Rashi was not even bothered by it. According to Rashi, it's not even a question. What's the word? So again, so the Rebbe Adet Fabregan explained, and he analyzed again the idea, what is the difference when we say Yishlach malacho lefanecha or Yishlach malacho itach, ahead of you or with you? Ahead of you means that the angel goes ahead of me to ensure the atzlacha, the success of the shlichut, of the mission. So Eliezer arrives in Choron, everything is set up, everything is ready. Itach means I'm going to work and the angel is going to assist me. What happened? If you read the story in this week's Parsha, was the angel with Eliezer or the angel was ahead of Eliezer? There's at least 4 or 5 elements in the story that you see clearly that this is the angel is doing his job. Number one, the travel. Rashi says in chapter 24, verse 42, what does Rashi say? That today I left. What happened? There was no traffic.
Short a day.
Everything was shortened. It's called kfitzat derech. I was able to skip many miles of traveling, avoiding all the traffic, and arriving the same day I left. It's called kfitzat derech. Number one. How does that happen? Somebody goes ahead of you. Number two, Eliezer makes himself a sign. What's his sign? I'm going to come. There's going to be a water, a well. I'm going to ask the girl who comes out to draw water to draw me water. And she answers yes, plus the camels. I know that she's a kind person and I can trust that this is probably the designated girl for my master's son. Usually come to the well, wait. So let's give some time. Who is coming? What does it say in verse 24, verse 15? Vayehi terem ukila ledaber. Before he even finished praying. Ve'inei Rivka yotzas. And Rivka, behold, is out, coming on with a pitcher on her shoulder. It seems from the story that there wasn't a response to his prayer. Tell him before he even finished praying, before he had a chance. Basically, the girl left the house before he even started to pray. She must have left the house before he even initiated his prayer. So it wasn't a response to his prayer. It was a malach, an angel, which is ahead of time, organizing
the second.
Exactly. Rashi says, after he arrives in the house of Psuel, Psuel is trying to interfere, trying to make some trouble. What happened to Psuel? Came the angel and made sure there's no more Psuel. Psuel's life had expired. Right? Psuel died. And when they say, you know what? Let's speak to the girl. And you have to remember, it doesn't say anywhere that this girl knew what they're talking about. She was never offered a shidduch. She wasn't told, I'm here because I'm looking for a mate for my master's son. He gave her gifts. It's nothing to do. That's family sending gifts. It doesn't mention anywhere I came for a shidduch. Eliezer told her anything about a shidduch? No. Right?
Yeah.
She didn't have a chance to contemplate and to think and to discuss. So the girl is in the room, but Lavan and the mother are getting the offers, right, for the shidduch. And they say, listen, I have to ask the girl. The girl is being asked, chapter 24, verse 58. What does she say? Immediately, Eilech, yapayachal. I am going. Without any delay, without any thoughts. As Rashi says, Eilech, I'm going on my own, even if you don't want, I'm going. What does it tell you? It's lefanecha or itoch? It's lefanecha. The angel went ahead. Usually, come into a city, You have to make plans. You have to find a family. You have to convince them that to go out and to leave the family. You have to speak to the matchmakers. It takes time for a mission to be accomplished, especially a mission like that. To take a girl who's going to be required as a condition to leave her house because the Khatan is not leaving Israel. That was the oath, that was the shvua that he took. This is a very, very big responsibility. And this, I'm not saying it's not doable. It's doable, but it takes time. It takes effort. It can take months. We all know what a shidduch is. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. Complications, obstacles, overcoming obstacles. There's a process. What? Lashon hara. They say there's actually a Hasidic insight. Abraham says that sometimes it holds back the shidduch as people say bad things about the potential candidate. I once saw an insight. Why was it Hashem doesn't make miracles in vain? How comes that Eliezer had a miracle that his road was shortened, that he made it so quickly into Haran? The answer is that usually, if it would be the regular time period of travel, he would have stopped in different inns. And someone would say, where are you going? Haran. Oh, what are you doing in Haran? I'm going to look for a shidduch. Haran, shidduch. You know people of Haran? Right. Somebody else would say, actually, there's a nice girl there called Rivka. Rivka, don't try the Rivka. I know she's a spoiled girl from day one. He has a brother, a liar, called Lavan. The father's a missionary. It's true, but it's after you see the girl, you can accept it because you know at least you're getting a good deal despite her father. But if you're on the road, before you had a chance to see the girl, you're already being bombarded with Lashon hara, like I've said, information, who the family is. So after one or two stances, after a few steps, Eliezer would never consider going to find a shidduch. Hashem had to especially make a miracle, kaftzaloi, that the road was skipped over, so you shouldn't have to have the issue of dealing with all those shenanigans. That's what they say. So in other words, that's what really happened. Avram's words was not in vain. What Avram said really happened. Eliezer had to change it because if you come to Psuel and say, I want to talk to you about the shidduch, and you tell him, there was an angel who sent ahead of me, what does Psuel say? So why are you talking to me? It seems like everything's arranged. What's the discussion? You have to allow him to become a receptacle for such information. So you have to go slowly. You got to soften him. Angel came with me, not ahead of me. So now, with you. Let's see what you did, what the angel did, and then. But I want to, not knowing, and this is not a lie, because when you tell someone the angel is going ahead of you, it includes the fact that the angel is going with you. Because if he's going ahead of you, so for sure he's going with you. So it's just diminishing the support he has from the angels just to give Psuel a chance to picture it. I sometimes think about one of my personal stories. Now, the idea that you don't have to tell everything up front, even if you believe it. Because if the person is not a receptacle for it, then you're going to lose it. One of my stories is in the early years, here in Bellevue, I am walking Microsoft campus looking for Jews. And sometimes I didn't see anybody, but I kept on walking. My hat, my capote, so hopefully someone's going to notice a Jew, or I'm going to notice they are Jew. And this is this big guy, physically big, with the scarf around his head, like what do you call it? Bandera? Bandana. Walking by me like this, like walking, like maybe like a beer. And he walks by. I turn around back to see who was he, and at the same time he looks back. So obviously our faces are like meeting each other, and he goes with his hands. I say, "You want to ask something?" I didn't think he's Jewish at that point. He says, "Yes, I want to ask you a question." I said, "Fine." He asked me, "Did you ever hear about?" He couldn't even pronounce it clear. The Baal Shem Tov, the Baal Shem Tov. I said, "Yeah, I hear about the Baal Shem Tov." Sure, I heard about the Baal Shem Tov. I'm learning his teachings. I'm trying to follow his ways. What did you hear about the Baal Shem Tov? I said. So he responded by saying that I'm reading a biography book, a history book, and I'm reading now about the Baal Shem Tov, and I see you walking here. I thought to myself, a chosher like this is probably what the Baal Shem Tov looked like. Maybe that's. I told him, Baal Shem Tov looked much better than me. Nice joke. But yes, I'm ready. Are you Jewish? Yes. I would like to share with you more from the Baal Shem Tov's teachings. And he invited me to his office. I came to see him. He came to my house, back and forth. And then one day he gives me a very nice check, a donation to the Torah Center. At that time, I never saw that amount of money on a check. Okay? It wasn't in the millions. It wasn't even in the tens of thousands, but it was more than $1,000. A lot of money. And I am very convinced in my principles that I study. I say, Dale, I want to tell you something. You gave me money, but you know that in my philosophy and belief system, this money is my money from the get. God provides me, and He had it assigned for the Torah Center. You were just the guard to watch it until it gets to me. But the truth is, I don't even have to say thank you because it's my money. The only reason I'm saying thank you to you is because after all, it was in your hands. You had a choice. You could have decided on keeping it. And yet you choose to give it. Thank you for the choice, but not for the gift. I cannot forget where he looked at me like, what are you saying? My time, my sweat, my blood, my efforts in my job until I'm getting paid. Nothing to do with me. This is your money that I gave you. It was the last time he gave me. What's the story? The story is that yes, the angel went ahead of me, organized a nice gift for the Torah Center without me needing to put too much effort. Why do you have to tell him that the angel went ahead of him? Hold on, wait, let him realize that on his own. Later, he's going to learn more. He's going to realize that God takes care of everybody, and he should be happy that he's the messenger for doing it. I pushed the button ahead of time. And that's what happens to Abraham and Psuel. There's obviously an angel that goes ahead of us. It doesn't work without an angel. What are we doing? We are just following the steps that God wants us to follow. Look at Eliezer. The commentaries are pointing out in his entire Parsha, the whole story is about Eliezer. 60 more verses. And you do not find his name mentioned even once. like there's a nobody. When he comes even to Besuel's house, he walks in, he doesn't say, hi, hello, I'm Eliezer and I'm the chairman of Avram's tent. What does he say when he meets Besuel? Look on page 132, verse 34. The, right, on verse 32 it says, he was brought into the house, the camels, he placed food of him, and he now introduces himself. Verse 34. Vayoimar, and he said 3 words. Eved, Avraham, Anoichi. I am Avraham's servant. No name. No name. First, I'm a slave. I'm a servant. Second, Avraham. And then I. Not even I am the servant of Avraham. Anochi Eved Avraham. Eved. That's where I begin. The whole entity of Eliezer, the whole personality of Eliezer, was that bittul, the self-nullification he had to his master, that he was the real shliach. Nothing on my own. What am I doing? Even though we learned last week, he was a big teacher. He was the one who shared the knowledge of his master together with the entire people. Damesek Eliezer, Toleu Mashke Mitorad Rabo La'acherim. He was sharing the teachings of his Rebbe. But when you ask him, who are you? Who are you? Who am I? Avram said. And that's what I am. You have to remember, he was a servant that, as much as he was committed to Avram, when he heard about that mission to go and to find a girl, Rashi says in the Midrash that he told his master, what about my daughter? I have a daughter. And his master told him, sorry, you come from Cham. You were cursed. And we come from Shem, who was blessed. And the cursed cannot cleave to the blessed. I would at that time quit. If I'm so committed to someone and he doesn't have a nice word, you don't want my daughter, at least be nice about it. Tell me, yeah, it's not for my son, they're different personalities, not a shidduch, your daughter deserves something better. I don't know, try to make me feel good. Instead, what does Avram tell him? You're cursed. Ata arur, ve'en arur nidbak bebaruch. Rashi says, right? Not only doesn't quit, he goes and is looking and is doing his best with all the effort in the world to try to find a shidduch for his master son. And Take, the Zohar Kadosh points out that that's why you see on verse 31, when he knocks on the door of Betuel, Vayomer, what does Betuel say? Bo Bruch Hashem. Come in. Come in, who? Who you are blessed by Hashem. What's the title? Why does he call him the Baruch Hashem guy? He doesn't say, come, welcome in the name of God. He calls him, you are the blessed one. So the Zohar points out.
He thought it was Abraham.
What?
After you could think it was Abraham.
The Zohar points out more. Because Avram told them you're cursed. Avram told them you're cursed. And instead of quitting and saying, that's what you call me? Find yourself someone else to be your Gabbai. He says, okay, I still think that you know exactly what you're doing. At that moment, he had acquired a quality of blessing. He became a blessing. And that's what Tzur is noticing right away when he tells him, oh, Baruch Hashem, you are the blessed one. He became blessed because it was quiet when he was told you're good. That changed him.
Wasn't he one of the people that went up to heaven in his body?
Exactly. He had a lot of values. But his main thing is that he's quiet. And that's why he deserves a malach who goes before him. He doesn't feel that he's doing anything. One of my favorite stories to hear. I don't remember who told me this story. Maybe Mr. Weiss told it. There was two Hasidim, Rabbi, in Los Angeles. There was a Hasid, a very famous Hasid, the previous Rebbe. The Rebbe, his name was Rabbi Reichik, Shmuel David Reichik, very holy man. He was the previous Rebbe sent to Los Angeles in 1948 after the war. He himself survived the war. He escaped Poland into Shanghai. And he came to Los Angeles as a mission, as a messenger, as a shaliach of the previous Rebbe. And later years, when the Mendel Futterfass, the famous chassid, came out of Russia, he came out in 1963. He came to the Rebbe the first time in 1964, after he left Russia. And the Mendel Futterfass was an activist, and he used to come to Los Angeles once a year to raise funds for the yeshiva for Chabad. He used to go together with Rabbi Reichik. So the story is that Rabbi Mendel and Rabbi Reichik, this was not later in the years, I don't know if it happened in the 70s, even in the 80s, he used to still travel to Los Angeles. He lived in Kfar Chabad. Rabbi Mendel comes, Rabbi Reichik, they come in. They went to a day of raising, and they didn't make much what they were expecting to. So before end of the day, Rabbi Reichik said, okay, let's go visit this office. Through there, maybe he will help us. They come into this office, and the secretary says, we came to meet Mr. So she goes into the office of the boss. You have two rabbis over here who are came to see you. He says, okay, I'm busy, but wait. Everyone sit down in the waiting room. I'm going to come out soon. Two elderly Hasidim, both had experienced life. They're getting in a nice, warm, comfortable chair in our office front, in our office waiting room, probably was a nice office. After traveling all day raising money, what happens? You sit down, and they both kind of snooze away. After a few minutes, the boss walks out of his office and he sees the rabbi starts smoking. He says, let him rest. He leaves them a nice check. Because when they wake up, give them the check, I gotta go home. After a while, no, the Mendel, the Reichik, they wake up. The boss already left, but they take a look. He left them a nice check, a nice donation. So the Mendel was a very clever man. He tells Rabbi Reichik, no, where am I heading to sleep now? Let's find another office we can go take a nap. What is the word? Malacha lefanecha. The angel goes ahead of you. It's not that you are doing and accomplishing, and somehow there is also a bracha, kind of secondary. No. The angel is going lefanecha. You don't have to tell him that you have an angel. You came and you ask and you talk about what he can help, but at the same time, we have to believe that al malach lefanecha, because that's what actually happened. That Abraham told that Rashi doesn't have to explain it to us. It's obvious. Then comes the question. In that case, why does he have to pray? You see, Eliezer is making a whole prayer to God. If he's so excited and convinced that it's all going to be taken care of, why do you pray? Matter of fact, the Rambam uses Eliezer as an example, as somebody whose prayer was so successful that before he even had a chance to finish praying, he was already answered. The Rambam says this is the prayer, the ultimate prayer that you are so close to God that it doesn't take any time in between. You ask and you get answered immediately. So if it works so quickly and so nicely, why Taka did he pray? So the Orach Chaim HaKadosh says something very beautiful on this parsha. He says, when you are going to do a mitzvah, or you're on a mission by a tzaddik, and you believe it's all going to work out, he says, for sure it's going to work out. That's not a question. But you should pray that you should be the one that the mission should be realized by. You're not praying for the mission, you're praying for yourself. The Rebbe sends you. Whatever the Rebbe wants, whatever the Rebbe wants, it's going to happen. This is God's purpose in creation. Are you going to be part of it? Are you going to be able to materialize it? So gesund. Is your neshama going to be included in that fulfillment of the mission? So you daven, you say, Hashem, I know it's going to happen. I want to be part of it. Make sure that I have the wisdom that I should be able to materialize that which is meant to be fulfilled. Even the Chaim HaKadosh says, and we give you his word, the Chaim says it on chapter 24, verse 12. He says, "But tuach Chayei Eliezer ba'adono." Eliezer was sure in his master that philosophy is kabbalas, that his prayers is going to be accepted. Lefanacho. And Abraham said, the angel is going to go ahead of you. It's going to happen. What is he praying now? Says the Chaim HaKadosh, Oisif le'ispalel. Eliezer added an extra prayer. Sheyehu roi la'ases hadovar al yodoi. That what his master sent them to be materialized through him. Ki imtzai says lefa'amim tiyeh meni'ah lekayem divrei atfilah mitzad ha'emtzai. Sometimes the middleman can stop. Avram prays, may the angel go ahead of you. From Avram's perspective, it's happening. But you might create a blockage. Therefore, it davened that God forbid it should never happen. I should be able to have the merit to see my master's mission is being accomplished through me. And that's what Eliezer sees. Not only did he see success at the end of the road, right? It all worked out when he arrived there. He sees along the way. The truth is, it was not only lefanecha. It was malachot itach. It wasn't only that he came and at the end result, it all worked out. No. Along the way, every step on the way, he sees, he hears, and he realizes that the mission is meant to is happening. The angel is with me, and therefore, even ahead of me. But that was the connection that Eliezer had with his Rabbi Abraham. There was a special connection. He knew that his Rebbe's mission is going to be fulfilled. Maybe that's why the Rebbe tells Mr. Weiss, in the context of this discussion, come more often. Meaning, sometimes you forget that all the good thing which happens in your life is because somebody is praying on your behalf. Just like Avraham Avinu prayed that the angel should be ahead of you. Yishlach malacho lefanecha. You think suddenly, if you're not traveling, you don't come see the Rebbe, you might convince yourself, I did pretty good. Look at me. The building, Hashem, and that, this, and that, this program, this, that. Hello. It had nothing to do with you. You will just be happy that you were a conduit through which that mission was accomplished. And that's what we have to do. So it's two conditions. To go on Eliezer's ways, we have to have two conditions. Condition number one is complete submission to Abraham. When you meet the real shliach, you ask him, hello, what's your name? Who are you? I'm Rabbi Farkash, born in Jerusalem. I have the whole resume I can share with you. There's no resume. There's a 3-word resume. Eved, Avraham, Anoichi. The servant of Avraham is who I am. That's a yes. And at the same time, you want to make sure that you don't get carried away, so you pray like Eliezer. Tefillah, he davened, and that's why he was successful. This Shabbos, Chayei is going to be the Kinus HaShluchim in New York. And sometimes people ask, so what are you going to the Kinus HaShluchim? Some people think they have fun, but sometimes, yeah, Fabrang, get rejuvenated, meet friends, old friends. Here, I have a friend, he just texted me before class. He's from Moscow. You coming? So, you coming? Sure, I'm already here. Today, to fly from Russia to America, it takes some time. So, you got to rest out if you want to have any fun. Yeah, you have to go to who knows where. They don't fly direct. You coming? I'm coming. Oh, that's it. I didn't see him for a year. We're going to see each other. Talk. He's in Russia. He has his challenges. I'm in America. I have my challenges. Moscow. Today, to Moscow is not that there's no direct flight to America. Those days are over. Then there is, every year, we have about 300 shluchim from Israel. This year, the shluchim in Israel are not coming.
Why?
Some of them can't come, and some of them, the organization gave out not an order, but a request that in these difficult times, it's important to stay with your family and with your community. There's sirens going up and down, and your wife to run with the little baby, stay home. But every year we have a big banquet, Sunday night. This year, God willing, they made the banquet Sunday morning. So in the evening, they're going to try to put all the Israeli shluchim to one place, and we can see each other. But
You put them in one place. You need one place.
no, they're going to meet somewhere in Israel.
Right.
But we're gonna have, it's gonna be on the, and if you go on Sunday to Chabad.org, there's gonna be a link sent, you can watch it. The last few years you can watch the whole banquet, it's very nice. It's gonna be in New York time, I think 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So we can be in Israel 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock, whatever it is, so we can be together, but they're not gonna. So there is that.
Where you're gonna be sitting.
I have no idea. I never pick a seat. No, because they do have a whole map. You can pick your seat, sit with friends. I actually have, some years I used to pick, and for many years I don't pick a seat anymore. I like to be thrown in randomly next to the guy from Korea or from China. I don't like to be, I like to meet others and to learn from other experiences. Anyway, but this is all benefits, but ultimately it is to go to the oil and to daven and to tell the Rebbe that, you want to continue doing your mission statement and time to bring Mashiach, daven for ourselves and for everybody in the community, whatever they need, Yiduchim, Parnasa, health. And today we have a lot to daven, believe me, a lot to pour our heart out in what's going on in the world today, in Israel and here in Bellevue and everywhere else. Everyone should have a good Shabbos and a good year. And remember, Ishlach Malachoi Lefanecha. The angel goes, Ki malachav yitzav elach, Yishmocha b'chol drachecha. The angels go, Adonai yishmor tzedcha v'lecha, me'ata ve'ad olam. Chazak u'baruch. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you B'ezrat Hashem again. All the best, Laila Tov, next Wednesday, God willing.
Safe travels.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much.
But you had the beer.
What?
You didn't have beer, but you had the beer.
Yeah, yeah.